Obviously, our preference is for none of this to be necessary. But contending with reality, what would it look like if Republicans responded in kind to the Harry Styles type get out the vote operation? Another factor is questionable election administration in key states. Now, this was documented in Pennsylvania and Arizona this year. Obviously, Maricopa County is a dumpster fire run by two never-Trumper voter haters. And in Pennsylvania, there was an issue with one county running out of paper, running out of the voting materials. And it's really difficult to estimate just how many voters this disenfranchises, but clearly it is really, really damaging both to the integrity of the election and to the confidence that the public should have in our election procedures. And these are merely the known issues. I find it stretches credibility that we are asked to believe on blind faith that all of these operatives are running elections properly because they are motivated by altruism. The incentives are simply too high. If they are rational actors, they're probably not doing things in a fair way. And how many unknown Richard Barons are running elections improperly in how many Fulton counties across the nation? I'm now obviously referring to the 2020 incident where Fulton County, which is the most populous county in Georgia, had a lot of questionable election administration problems, to the extent that the Board of Elections that is run by a bipartisan group of Republicans and Democrats in Georgia was astonished by what they saw. They were looking to investigate and eventually asked him to resign. And further, one wonders what political machine infrastructure was built up over the nearly 40 years during which a judge banned Republicans from observing polling activity after a lawsuit that involved the RNC in the early 1980s. That is something that I discussed with Molly Hemingway, and we did a deep dive into her research on that in the previous episode. But it really raises key questions of how much procedural warfare, how much administrative warfare is going on that we simply do not even know about. And it becomes really essential in these key states with very close margins where the electorate is very closely divided between Republicans and Democrats. And there's every election hinges on hundreds, low thousands numbers of votes, because if this is not resolved, and they continue to accumulate the structural advantage with procedural and administrative efforts, then it is going to be impossible to win elections, no matter what candidates you have, no matter what policies you run on, no matter who is doing what, no matter what former presidents are involved in campaigning or fundraising or tweeting or truthing. You will not win elections if you continue to allow the opposition party to accrue structural advantages that go unanswered. In a couple more examples, the GOP lets partisan get-out-the-vote operations go completely unmatched. And in just one example, Harry Styles, who is a popular singer and performer, especially with people under 35, he is a foreign interloper from England who is not a citizen, cannot vote, and yet endorsed Joe Biden in 2020. He ran a contest on a website where he was bribing 54,000 people to register to vote with entry into a contest. Quote, individuals could visit the website to check their voter registration and sign up to vote, or find out how to register to vote in some states, to enter a competition that gave one lucky winner 2 concert tickets, airfare, a hotel stay, and merchandise to the musician's much-hyped Halloween show dubbed Harryween on October 31st. Now, it makes you wonder, what would it look like if Republicans responded in kind to this type of get-out-the-vote operation? If we had Kid Rock or some similar celebrity offer these fabulous contests where people could win all kinds of fabulous prizes simply by entering this contest and registering to vote or checking their voter registration. This is the type of creativity that Democrats apply to their strategic efforts to win elections that Republicans simply don't even touch. And the question is, obviously, our preference is for none of this to be necessary. But contending with reality, what would it look like if Republicans responded in kind to the Harry Styles type get out the vote operation, or even to the Mark Zuckerberg get out the vote operation, where he paid $400 million in quote unquote charitable donations to fortify the elections, which is quickly dismissed in the media as nonsense and having no real effect. Clearly, this is a mechanism that is really, really important, regarded as an important advantage to the Democrats, because a prominent reporter named Tim Alberta made the appalling insinuation on Twitter the other day that voters do not deserve competent elections unless they accept quote unquote private funding to shore up election administration. Obviously, he was referring to Zuckerberg-style infusions of weaponized activist cash, because he was doing this in response to complaints about the hideously incompetent administration of elections in Maricopa County. So I simply ask, what is the GOP plan for countering these types of get out the vote operations that activate huge swaths of their important voter blocks, such as young people and highly engaged activists? And then what is the GOP plan additionally for Biden's explicitly announced via executive order repurposing of government agencies toward get out the vote efforts?